going by so fast, but it was nice. Backyard looks so pretty.
I know it did.
Enter your attendee ID number.
That was
I
weird.
started the recording, so it's ready to go when you are.
Okay. I've got an echo. Hold on one second. Can you hear me now?
We can. We heard you the first time, so I don't know if you signed in twice, which is why you're like if you're getting double sound.
Yeah. let's get started.
I'm sorry, I think your echo, if you signed in on your phone, but your computer also, if you can speak through your computer, you won't need your phone.
For some reason, I can't hear on my computer though.
Oh,
This is very.
Do you have the mute? Do you have the mute button on the top left hand? Are you on your laptop?
I can mute
Yeah.
him.
There's a button on the top left keyboard where it has a mute button. Like, if you just turn that, sometimes that's on. You wouldn't be able to hear
Okay.
if that was.
Not working.
Bill, could you possibly be signed in twice?
I will try logging off my. I'll hang up on my phone and see if I can.
Yeah, because we heard you were on and we heard you, and then it sounded like we heard you logging in again. So maybe you're just logged on twice, which is why we're hearing you twice.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
Can you hear us?
To WebEx. Enter your access code. Enter your attendee ID. Audio has been muted.
I'm just going to. If you can hear me, I'm just going to go through my phone.
Yes, we can hear you. So I'll start the recording.
Okay. Okay, welcome to the special meeting of the Board of Selectmen, Tuesday, February 13th, 2024. Should we stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance? Brenda, would you like to lead us?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, the first item on the agenda is to hear updates from the first selectman. I'm going to skip this today for the purpose of time so that we can, anyone who hasn't shoveled their sidewalk, we'll try to get through this so you can get on with your day. But so the item number 4, and I just want to say I'm working through like an echo in my ear, so it's a little strange. Land Acquisition Commission, David M. Cantor, 11 Myron Street, term 11/21 to 25, resigned on January 31st. He is our new treasurer. Item number 5, to hear, consider, and act upon the following appointments. Ethics Commission, it requires unanimous Board of Selectmen approval with RTM approval. Number 1, Lisa W. Callahan, Democrat, 290 Road, term 723 to 725, to replace Donald Kleber. And we had a moment of silence last meeting for Donald, who passed away. May I have a motion? Brenda?
So moved.
I'll second that.
So
Okay,
if I could have an opportunity, Bill, I had emailed the Jennifer and the town attorney on a few items. And one of them was this one. And I had just brought up the fact that when I was in office, and similarly to prior administrations, when there is really any appointment, if there's openings in commissions, just to sort of give the minority member a heads up that the administration would be populating whichever said committee or commission, so that that person would have an opportunity to put forth anyone they thought they would like to see. But in this case, these are required unanimous support. So I had tried to, as soon as I got the agenda, I reached out to Jennifer and said that I would like to have this tabled so that I could put forth somebody that I would like, and then we could come back and have a fulsome discussion on the candidates. And so I did speak to the town attorney this morning about it, and he said he was going to reach out to you. I have no issue with either of the people you put forward, but I did have somebody that I wanted to, who has applied to support. And so I was hoping we could table this issue and then have it come back when unanimous support could be provided for all the members.
Well, we do have another position opening up in, I think, 5 months. Could your candidate wait until then?
No, I wanted to, again, I wanted to have an opportunity to weigh in similarly the way I had offered that, to the minority select person through the town attorney or through Jennifer or my chief of staff. Due to our FOI rules, I wasn't ever allowed to speak directly to the minority select person, but I would have my staff or the town attorney take feedback from that minority select person and then take that into account before I was populating commissions. So I would prefer to table this and come back at our next meeting, because we do, right now, there is my understanding, there is a quorum currently on the Ethics Commission. So it's not as if they can't do business if they get anything. But I would prefer us to have the opportunity to have unanimous support, which is needed for these appointments. Because today I don't feel comfortable voting for either one of them. And that's why I had requested last week for them to be tabled.
Well, I'm not sure the way this worked in the past, but I do know the former minority select person very well, and I'm not sure that this should work any different than it did. I believe the best way to do it is, because of the FOI issues, that you can certainly through Jen Carpenter or someone in the office submit your preferred candidates with an explanation of why. And you can always do that, and that we can't discuss behind offline. I'm sorry, I'm dealing with this echo coming into my ear.
You sound fine. No, and I understand that, Bill. However, like I was explaining to the town attorney today, this is a part-time position, and if I were to have to call every single person who has been applying for any position without having any idea of when commissions or boards are going to be populated, they could be populated this month, next month, 6 months from now. So it doesn't, to have a little heads up, hey, we're going to be populating a commission that has some vacancies in it. Do you have anybody you're interested in that's applied? That way it makes it easier, right? Just to randomly call every single person who has applied for, and you've seen a whole bunch have come through, not knowing when they may even be brought up on the agenda isn't very productive for me. And so that's why we was give a heads up that we are going to be populating a commission in the next month or so. Do you have anybody you like? And obviously I'm not aware of what the agenda is going to say until I get it in my inbox like Christine. So I didn't know that the ethics were going to be on here. And then that's when I emailed Jennifer and had asked if it could be tabled. And then I had reached out to the town attorney as well.
Yeah, and I did hear from the town attorney who made it clear to me that we really can't speak behind closed doors on this stuff. So we definitely should work through a way to get your opinions on the candidates and your proposals. I
know I told the town attorney today that Select Woman Lefkowitz used to spend quite a bit of time speaking to the former town attorney. They would communicate regularly by email and by phone, which was helpful. Then I could, put forward candidates that she liked, and then we could populate with the people, and then marry them together to have a good composition.
Well, I mean, the thing is, these candidates are fantastic. At least I think they are, and they would add quite a lot. I mean, would you be willing to? You have looked at their resumes; those have been available, or have you not had a chance?
No, I did look at them, but again, I think it's just really more about process. I don't have a problem with either one of them. I just had shared with the town attorney that I would like another candidate who did apply to be one of the two that are going to be approved. And so he said he would share that. And I was just asking.
I would agree. These two candidates are fantastic. There was definitely one or two other candidates who were fantastic too. And probably all of these candidates would be fantastic on any board or commission they were on. But if you're not ready to vote on this, then it won't pass. So I think we don't really have a choice but to table it. But and I'm more than happy to see who you would like, although I suspect I know who it is. But yeah, once again, we do have another spot opening up in 5 months.
No, I appreciate it, and that's why I asked for the table it, so we wouldn't waste these applicants' time to come on the meeting, and then we could, move forward. Hopefully, we could have candidates that all three of us would unanimously approve.
Okay, but just to be clear, we should be looking at the merits of each individual candidate, and if we have 3 or 4 great candidates, sometimes it's just a matter of choosing 2, and hopefully we don't want to hold each other hostage to whatever other considerations there might be. But I don't think we have a choice. So would you like to make a motion, or before that, Christine, do you have anything you'd like to say?
I don't have a problem with tabling this, because especially for this commission, it needs to be unanimous, and I do want to, for the 3 of us to come to a decision amicably on this. I agree about and maybe the town attorney, if you could just weigh in terms of communication. Coming from a 9-person board, I'm still learning this myself in terms of FOIable. Could the first selectman's office provide a draft agenda to us prior to the Board of Selectmen for informational purposes only, or would that be a problem for FOI also?
So it's not an issue for the chair to circulate a draft agenda. The issue is that the board members, a quorum of the board, unless it's a political caucus, cannot engage in deliberative discussion about the merits of an item. It gets a little close where you have an item that must be unanimous, because if somebody's saying don't put it on the agenda, kind of starts to sound deliberative. But I don't think it's an issue with members saying, I think this person would be great for ethics, consider this person, and then you can have draft agendas circulated. But I think I'm going to caution the 3 of you to not engage in deliberative discussions over emails, because we have open meeting laws. So.
Okay. So Brenda, do you want to make the motion?
So right now we have a motion and a second. Do we, I don't know how, actually, I don't know how we handle it from here because we already have a motion and a second on
The
the
table.
agenda item. Do we,
We would, Phil, we would make a motion to table this until next meeting.
so do you want, I'll remove my motion, and if Christine wants to remove her second, then I guess we can go back to the item. I'll remove mine. Back to the item and then make a motion to table this item or the next, I'm sorry. Well, it's A, 1 and 2, so it's one item, I guess.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll withdraw my second for this. And I would also just like to say for the candidates, I think they're both on. Thank you for applying. I was ready to support both of them tonight, but I understand the reason to table this to our next meeting. I think they're both highly qualified and would be a wonderful addition to this commission. You
So
can't
should
hear
we
me.
hang up and go? No?
Bill, we can't hear you, Bill. Something happened. Can you hear him, Christine?
Nope.
Oh,
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
yeah.
I would like to add, I think they're both excellent candidates, and I would hope that next meeting they will be approved.
Being that this is for discussion, if they're on, I don't know if, being that we have them, would it be appropriate to just have them introduce themselves?
I mean, I think it would be nice, and maybe we can get that sort of out of the way now and give them some flexibility for the next meeting. So,
Lisa, would you like to go?
but you did withdraw the motion, so I'm not sure that we have a motion on the table.
I mean, technically speaking, we shouldn't talk about an item that's not, if we withdrew the item and we've tabled it, technically speaking, we shouldn't be taking comment on an item that no longer exists on the agenda.
Okay. Wasn't sure, just for the hearing.
I just want to offer my sincere apologies to the candidates for these positions. I'm sorry to have put you out.
Thank you.
This is Jerry McHenry, and I'm just going to go shovel my snow. Have a good day.
Okay. Thank you, Jerry. I'm sorry.
It's heavy.
Be careful.
This is Lisa Callahan, and seeing as this is for the Ethics Committee, I'm going to go out and make a snow angel.
There
Okay,
you go.
thank you, Lisa. I'm sorry.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
For the record, I just
Okay.
want to say I did try to prevent that from happening on Friday. So
I just, for the record, I'm not sure that typically people that are not, that don't go through on these unanimous, usually there's a specific reason why I'm a little wary of this, that, if we need 3 people to agree, hopefully in the future, that if the people are good, they would get approved. But
So,
we
Bill,
will,
just for the record,
hopefully,
it's not about
unanimous.
no, it's not about who's good or not, really. Honestly, those candidates are very lovely, and I have no issue with either one of them. It's just a courtesy to the minority on the Board of Selectmen to, and again, this doesn't have to be an FOI. What I did while I was in office was Jennifer or my chief of staff would reach out and say, we're going to be populating X committee, Y committee, or Z committee in the next month or 2. There is X amount of vacancies. Do you have anybody you would like to put forward, or is there anybody that you have a preference to who's applied? That's all. It's not, I'm not disparaging anyone who has applied for anything. I'm just saying that forget the unanimous thing, yes, in this case, it's a unanimous, but I would hope that I would be given courtesy for any appointments and just been saying, hey, we have a couple of openings. Do you have anybody? There may be times when I don't have a preference at all. But if I
Yeah,
do,
okay.
I just would like to have that courtesy is all. And I hope you can
Okay,
understand.
okay. I guess I guess I assumed you knew which terms were up and which ones were open, and they
I
don't
honestly
have to
don't.
be
It's so
completed.
complicated.
So we can send you, yeah, we can send you the list of open items. I mean, they're on the web, but we can send you the list.
No, I
And you can
appreciate
just
that.
assume that they're all going to be
It's-
populated.
Yeah, it is so much work. I was really stunned by how much work Jennifer used to put into having to keep all these, boards and commissions, over 300 people serving. And it's really actually a lot of work to keep track of it. And I'm sorry, I don't have the time to keep track of everything. But just if there's a heads up, hey, we're going to be, populating, and it doesn't have to be you. It could just be Jennifer saying, we're going to be populating. Or you have any interest? 90% of the time, I might not have anybody of preference.
Okay. So I guess we should, do we have, Phil, do we have to vote to table this?
I don't know that you guys actually took a vote, because there was one motion and then it was withdrawn, and then I think another motion that was withdrawn. So
Yeah,
I think
that's
you guys
true.
I think the motion is a motion to postpone to your next regular meeting, and that's what you should do.
I'd like to make a motion to postpone this to the next regular meeting. Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention? I didn't hear you, Christine. Did you say aye?
I did. Aye.
Okay. Okay, B, Fair Rent Commission. Again, this one we're going to have to table as well to the next meeting. I've called all the members here. I was not aware that we were limited to one landlord and one renter. And had we gone through with these appointments, we would have had multiple landlords and renters. So we are going to have to find potential members who are neither landlords or renters. May I have a motion to postpone this item to the next regular meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous. D, Land Acquisition Commission, alternate. Mark Egan, Democrat, 404 Pine Creek Avenue, term 1122 to 1126, to take the place of Steven Sivikoff, who's being moved to full member. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, is Mark on the phone?
Yes, I am.
Mark, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm 63 years old. I'm a real estate attorney for the last 38 years. I did 12 of those years in London and the rest in New York City. I was born and raised in Stamford. I lived in Fairfield for the last 5.5 years. And I was 20 years in Westport before that. I have 3 grown children who live here sometimes, but not often. And my wife is, some of you may know her, she's a pediatrician in town.
Fantastic. I think you're going to be an excellent addition to this commission. Any comments from the board?
Just thank you for stepping up to serve.
Thank you.
Ditto.
Any comments from the public? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you.
The next item is land acquisition full member. Steven Sivikoff, L, Libertarian, 128 Katona Drive, term 1121 to 1125. And this is to fill the seat for David Cantor, who was appointed as treasurer. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Steven, are you on?
Yes.
Would you like to say a few words?
To Mark, thank you for joining the group. I think you'll be a wonderful addition with your experience. And I'm pleased the timing worked today to be on this call. And it's nice to, after 6 months, be moved forward and to watch how everything gets done. So thank you.
Thank you. I had a chance to meet with Stephen for I would say, about an hour, and I was incredibly impressed by his background. And Stephen's going to, be an awesome full member, and among other things that I know he's going to help the town with. So thanks for stepping up, Stephen.
My pleasure, Bill.
Any comments from the board?
No, just thank you for serving.
Thank you, Brendan.
Ditto. Thank you.
Any comments from the public? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Thank you so much, Stephen. See you soon.
Thank you.
Item F, Human Services Commission, Cheryl A. Jones, Republican, 175 Old Black Rock Turnpike, term 1123 to 1127, and she's replacing Suzanne Testani, whose term expired. And thank you to Suzanne for your service. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Cheryl, are you on?
Yes, I am.
Would you like to say a few words? Yeah.
Sure. My husband and I have been residents of Fairfield for over 30 years. I am very excited to be able to give back to the community. As you can see from my resume, I was the Human Services Director in New Canaan for 10 years, and I understand the importance of this committee and the residents the town assists, and I look forward to serving.
I would like to say, Cheryl, it's not often you get someone to serve on human services who's run human services in another town. I really thank you for stepping up, and you're one of the true talents in this town. Can't wait to work with you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the board?
Echo the first selectman's comments. Ms. Jones, thank you for volunteering and stepping up. I think your experience will be invaluable to this commission, and look forward to seeing you in action. Thank you.
And I echo those comments. Cheryl and I have had the pleasure of meeting and spending time together, and her expertise will be well suited for this position. I appreciate you stepping up to help out the town.
Thank you.
And also thank you to Ms. Testani for her service as well.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Any comments from the public? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Unanimous. Thank you, Cheryl. See you soon. Item number 6, first selectman appointment for information purposes only. Conservation Commission alternate, Diane Saunders, Democrat, 162 Fairfield Place, term 1119 to 1124. And she's replacing Peter Hood, Democrat, who moved to full member. I don't know, Diane, are you on?
Yes.
Would you like to say a few words? I'm having trouble hearing you. Can other people hear, Diane? You may have to speak up, Diane.
Okay.
There we go.
I've been very interested in environmental matters since my days at Connecticut College, where I studied botany and ecology with Professors Goodwin and Nearing, who were some of the founders of the Nature Conservancy. And although I ultimately pursued a career in real estate finance, I think my real estate knowledge dovetails with some of the issues that come up on the Conservation Commission. So I believe I have a good blend of skills and knowledge that will allow me to make some good contributions to the commission. also, I'm retired now, so I expect to have plenty of time to devote to this, and I very much look forward to it. And thanks again for my appointment.
Well, we look forward to having you serve, and yeah, your resume is really interesting. You've had a great background, so thank you. Thank you for stepping up.
You're welcome.
Okay, item number 7, purchasing authority. To hear, consider, and act on authorizing the purchasing authority to enter into the proposed contract with Ty and Bond to provide all engineering services necessary to perform the preliminary investigation and field survey for the following 3 pump stations: Fairfield Beach, Center Street, and Pine Creek, as detailed in RFP number 2023-140, and the Ty and Bond fee proposal dated October 24th, 2023, for an estimated fee of $1,175,000. $1,175,000. Funding for this contract is available in account 130-11110-59500, authorized appropriations from fund balance. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, is Bill Hurley on?
Can I ask a question about sorry, Bill.
That's
can
okay.
I ask that last part? You said this is coming from fund balance, or is this coming? Is this a capital?
Brenda, this is John Marsilio.
Hi, hi, John.
This is fund balance from WPCA.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it should say WPC.
Sorry. Good. That's helpful.
And I could speak to this, but
I'm sorry, not Bill Hurley. This would be John. Yeah.
Okay.
So I thought that Adam was going to speak about the process, but I could speak to it also.
I'm here if you'd like me to.
Okay, go ahead, Adam. You're named on this at someplace.
Yeah. So just briefly, this is the result of RFP 2023-140, as we said in the resolution. The board previously approved. So just this RFP was for 7 pump stations actually, and the board previously approved move forward with 4 of them. The remaining 3 here required state approval because the town will be pursuing some, wants to have the ability to pursue grant funding in the future. So we wanted to get state approval on that. And we finally got that okay. So now we're here to present for the remaining 3 pump stations. So yeah, everything has been through the RFP process. The other stations have already been approved. And additionally, these 3 have gotten the okay from the state. So that's about all I have on the process.
Any questions from the board?
No, I'm very, very familiar with these projects, and I'm glad to see that they finally, I know it's so hard to get through these processes with the state and everything, but this will be good to see these move forward.
If I could just add one more thing, the $1,175,000 figure, that is for every task proposed for all 3 locations. Attorney Phil Pierce assisted us with sort of rewriting the contract to make sure that we have the ability to, approve the different tasks within that total as the project progresses. So I believe, the initial task 1 for each of the 3 locations is much lower than the $1,175,000. I think it's $191,000. But we wanted to have the ability to, get the entire project authorized for efficiency's sake here.
Excellent. Selectwoman Vitale, any questions?
Yeah, just about that, because I saw this was an update to the agenda. So you're going to start with the first step. Are we going to be getting updated, or is this going to have to be approved if we go to the second step? Or basically by approving the full amount today, you just have the flexibility to go forward with.
Well, I can answer that, Christine.
Yeah.
The entire contract is being approved. We're asking for that. And our goal is to get the phase 1 investigations completed on all 3 and authorize the design on the Fairfield Beach pump station only at this time. And our reason for that is that we want to be able to evaluate the performance of the consultant throughout this process. And if there is a lack of performance at any point, if they're not staying within their budgets, their schedules, or anything that is project related, we have the ability in this contract to withhold further awards. So it becomes a meritocracy. I think it's a better approach to these. This was my position, and it was embraced by WPCA chairman, and so that's why this is structured this way. So they have to perform to get more work.
Okay, but it wouldn't need to come before the Board of Selectmen to get the next
No.
phase. Okay. All right.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I would just ask the first selectman just to keep us updated on this, to know when we go through phase 1, to know if we're planning on staying with them moving forward, or if you foresee a change. But just on your radar for the future.
So noted. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, just an update. Thank you.
Can we go to the public? Any comments? Hearing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Brenda, did you say aye?
Yes.
Okay, unanimous. Good. Let's move on to item number 8. The town librarian. Does someone want a motion to waive the reading, or should I?
I'll make a motion to waive the reading.
Second that.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Unanimous. Scott, are you on?
Can I ask just a quick question before Scott?
Sure.
So I'm not familiar with, I only served 4 years, but I'm not familiar with we all of these sort of, these bundling, like the subscriptions, having them be on the agenda. I know that we voted, I guess a month or so ago, to give the authority to the first selectman, which I already thought you had. But like the subscriptions for the police and all this small little like digital services, e-material, and these are very small amounts. I'm not sure why they're, continuously being put on the agenda. How come they're not just being approved by you?
So,
well, I think it's because of the length of term. It's $10,000 or greater than 1 month. So it is kind of a slog to get through these the first time through, and I think the idea is to be able to renew on terms similar to the existing terms, so that we won't have to do this again in the future. But for me, I find it useful to know what they're up to, and it makes us pay attention. And once we get through it, hopefully we won't have to do it again. Attorney Pierce, would you like to add anything?
No, you stated it perfectly well. Thanks.
Thank you. Is Scott Jarzenbeck on? I
Yes.
knew he was planning on joining. Oh, there he is.
I'm here. Yes.
Go ahead, Scott.
So, attached is a list of contracts and user agreements from Fairfield Public Library to be presented to the Board of Selectmen. I'll just kind of go through the list quickly. library ideas. The product is Freagle. This is one of our digital streaming services, particularly for music. The cost of this service is appropriated in this fiscal year. It's an annual review. It costs us about $8,057, and it's from our library materials line. We have Canopy. The product is Canopy. This is another digital service for e-materials. The cost of this service is appropriated for this fiscal year. It's an annual review, $5,500, and this will also come from our library materials line. OCLC, and we have several OCLC products. OCLC cataloging and metadata subscription. This resource is for library material cataloging, so putting physical books in our catalog and on the shelf. The cost of this service is appropriated for this fiscal year, terms and annual renewal. This is $20,636.10, and the budget line is library systems and services. Then OCLC's Capura mobile app, so this is the library's mobile app. This is an annual cost. The service is appropriated for this fiscal year. It's a renewal. The cost is $5,918.74. This is in library services, systems and services. Then we have OCLC's Web GUI. This is a resource for library material cataloging. The cost of this service is appropriated for this fiscal year. It's an annual renewal. Cost is $807.60. And this is in library systems and services. OCLC's Easy Proxy. This is for user authentication for databases. So when you use one of our databases outside of the library, this is how we confirm that you're a patron. Cost of the service is appropriated in this fiscal year. It's an annual renewal, $731.79, and this is library systems and services. Then we have When to Work. The product is When to Work. This is a staff scheduling software. This is how we schedule our desks and multiple access points for the staff. The cost for the service is appropriated for this fiscal year. It's an annual renewal. It's $520. And the budget line is library systems and services. Then we have Cersei Dynex. I explained this at our last meeting. This is our integrated library system software for managing loan material and reporting. The cost of the service is appropriated for this fiscal year. It is an annual renewal. Dave Kelly does know about it. We had a conversation about it recently. The cost is $63,368.37, and this can be found in the budget line, library systems and services. Then we have HooFi, and the product is a HooFi dashboard. This is a web-based system to monitor Wi-Fi usage. The cost for this service is appropriated in this fiscal year. Dave Kelly does know about it because he helped set it up. It's an annual renewal. It's about $1,690. And this is in the budget line of library systems and services. Then we have Canopy. It's another digital service. It's another platform for e-material. The cost for this service is appropriated in this fiscal year. It's an annual renewal, $5,500, and it comes out of the budget line library materials. And then last but not least, Hive Class. This is a digital encyclopedia geared towards children. The cost for this service is appropriated in this fiscal year. It's interesting. It's for athletics and sports. And I believe it's widely used by our school librarians, not just our patrons. But this is a database that you can look up if you're thinking about doing weightlifting or baseball, or I don't know if they have jujitsu, but I know they have some martial arts. You can actually look up that and find skills. It's kind of like a coaching tool as well. So it's a really cool product. It's an annual renewal, $1,400, and that's under library materials.
Fantastic. Any questions or comments from the board?
Nope. Just that they sound
Hearing.
they're very cool, some of these products. Really a great, I mean, really, I didn't know that we have them in our library, so it's definitely a learning experience too. I appreciate approving them. Definitely learning something, and excited to see all of the opportunities. that we are providing our library besides just what people think of traditional books. So thank you for the presentation.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting to find out this way what we actually have in our library. So, any comments from the public? Hearing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous. Thanks very much, Scott.
Thank you.
Item number 9, Planning Director, to hear a FEMA CRS progress report on action items outlined in the Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Well, we're not voting on this though, so we don't, well.
Yeah.
Is Jim Wendt here?
I don't think that I can undo my video. I apologize. I think it's.
Oh, Emmeline.
Emmeline's here, yeah.
Hi, this is Emmeline. Jim was here. I don't know if he's.
Oh no, are you going to be running us through this? That's fine.
I certainly can. Yes, yes, indeed. So my name is Emmeline Harrigan. I'm the Assistant Planning Director, and I'm also the designated floodplain administrator for the town of Fairfield. And we participate in the National Flood Insurance Program, which is basically we have to adopt regulations that dictate flood methodology and FEMA identified flood zones. We have to enforce those regulations. And it allows our property owners, whether they're in a flood zone or not, to be able to purchase flood insurance from the National Flood Insurance Program. There is a program that goes above and beyond the minimum standards and requirements that allows our homeowners who do have flood insurance to also have a discount on their annual flood insurance premium, and that's called the Community Rating System. Fairfield has participated since 2017 in this program. And as there are certain requirements that have to be met, including elevation certificates for new construction, which document the flood compliance for a structure, for one, having a hazard mitigation plan that's done that also allows for us to have grant funding from FEMA. And also part of what we're doing as part of this floodplain management review. Fairfield currently has a 10% discount, so we're a class 8 CRS community, and for our 1,663 policyholders, they receive a $207,000 discount across all of our policyholders Fairfield wide. As part of this, you have in front of you our floodplain management plan. The floodplain management plan lists the flood reduction action items that are within the hazard mitigation plan that's updated every 5 years. The last hazard mitigation plan was done through MetroCog and was a multi-town hazard mitigation plan that was adopted in 2019. That plan is in the process of being updated town by town and will be before you sometime in 2024 as well. But within that plan, there are action items that are listed, and we do annually, as part of the CRS program, review those action items with town staff, such as Public Works, the fire department, the police department, engineering, also with the Flood Erosion Control Board, to see whether there's updated status for these projects, whether we've completed certain projects, and whether we need to add additional projects. And we expect that this annual tracking plan will also be part of, again, the updated plan. Some of the projects that we've completed include the Ash Creek Tidal Planting Program, and this was done in conjunction with the City of Bridgeport and the Ash Creek Conservation Association. The Riverside Tide Gate system is anticipated to start construction in spring 2024. As many of you know, we are using ARPA funds for some flood mitigation projects, including the Fairfield Townwide Resilience Plan, Penfield Beach Flood Protection Study, design and permitting of some of the downtown green infrastructure projects that were identified in a previous plan. Also water detention projects in the Rooster River corridor, and the Villa Avenue drainage detention project, which is anticipated to start sometime later this year. Also included in our tracking within the hazard mitigation plan is the 5-year tide gate maintenance and repair plan, which we hope to have an effect that will cover the years of 2024 through 2029. The start of the East Trunk Line sanitary sewer project to fix inflow and infiltration, to relocate that for better long-term resilience and increase the pipe size. The Perry's Green bulkhead repair, which is anticipated to start construction this year with ARPA funds. And so that's generally a summary of some of the projects that are within the floodplain management plan report and that were updated for this year's review. And then I'm here if you guys have any questions.
Any
Mr.
questions
Chairman,
from the board?
This is Jim Wendt. I just wanted to let you know, Mr. Chairman, that I was having difficulty on the computer audio, so I've dialed in. Emmeline has handled this very well. I have nothing to add other than to thank her for her work and all the collaborating departments that we depend on, particularly Bill Hurley in the engineering department to collaborate on this report. So I just wanted to say that for the record.
Oh, thanks, Jim. And I was having problems earlier as well. And any questions or comments from the board?
I just want to, highlight how wonderful both Jim and Emmeline are on so many projects, especially this stuff. A lot of this happened over the last several years, and the FEMA, we've talked obviously at length about all the potential loss of that discount insurance rate had Penfield we had not been in compliance with FEMA regulations, and they've done a lot of work on all these projects, and I just want to commend them both for all their hard work and efforts. And these projects are really important, and appreciate their work.
Thank you. Selectwoman Vitale, any questions?
Just in terms of the discount, so our residents now get a 10% discount on their flood insurance? And is that high level? Is there anything that we could do to increase that discount, or is that just pretty typical for municipalities in Connecticut?
I'll chime in for a second, then Emmeline can add anything that she wants. There are only about 7 or 8 municipalities in the state that participate in CRS, and none of those municipalities have a higher rating than the 10%. There are other things that can be done, but we have to start evaluating whether we start getting into diminishing returns in terms of cost of discount versus those additional activities that we would have to undertake to do that. But there's no other municipality in the state that gets more than a 10% discount at this point.
And that 10% comes from being class 8?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I guess, moving forward, if there's something that we can do to, get a higher discount, that'll be a discussion for another day. But I appreciate the information, all your work on this, and look forward to supporting you as you move forward.
Any comments? Well, any comments from the public? Hearing none. Let's see. I think this is not a voting item, so we'll move to item number 10, engineering manager. To hear, consider, and act upon the first supplemental agreement between Town and Wengel, McDonald, and Costello, Inc. for construction inspection services required in conjunction with the replacement of the Duck Farm Road Bridge. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Hurley.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Basically, the funding for this the resolution was approved by the all 3 boards last month. This item was reviewed by the town attorney and is standard DOT grant and contract language. The agreement needs to be formally accepted for project closeout and has been approved by the state. So it's really just, part of the town charter where it's a contract and has to go before the Board of Selectmen. The bridge is substantially or actually completed now, and we're just trying to do the closeout. So this is just a agreement of something that the board's approved last month. And the backup package was included. It has the first supplemental agreement in there as well. So.
Yep. Any comments or questions from the board? Any from the public? Hearing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye.
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 Unanimous.
I would just like
Thanks,
to comment on what a great
yes,
job Bill Hurley did and Eli Gazal getting that bridge done. I mean, it's so amazing and what a huge improvement. So bravo to both of you. Really great work.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Item number 11, non-recurring capital, 10 years, requires Board of Finance and RTM approval to hear, consider, and adopt a bond resolution entitled a resolution appropriating $130,000 for the costs of a non-recurring capital project and authorizing the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, consisting of 4 pages B, and hereby is approved. And we'll see a full resolution in the backup. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Who will be presenting this? Is this Caitlin or any? Well, we can. Okay, David, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, no, I was going to say, and I see the chief on. So if there's any question on the items, I think we were going to walk through mostly any of the department heads who, interact with it. So if Fire has something with this, if there's questions, they're best suited. But
is Chief McCarthy on?
I just saw him.
it was just.
Oh, there he is. Chief, can you hear us?
Yep, I can. You want me to give you a brief summary?
Yeah, why don't you talk about the truck?
So this is a replacement of our fleet maintenance vehicle. It was purchased in 2012. It will have 100,000 miles by the time we get a replacement vehicle, if approved by the Board of Selectmen, RTM, and Board of Finance. This is a vehicle that carries emergency fuel, so it has an onboard diesel fuel tank and dispenser. It has a lift gate for heavy equipment and a crane. Because our maintenance division responds to emergencies or major emergencies, it carries a full complement of lighting and warning package, which adds to the overall cost. But we get a lot of use out of this. It's an important piece of equipment, and per our replacement matrix for our fleet, this comes up appropriately, at 12 years, and so it'll be 13 years if approved by the time its replacement comes in. And I'm available to answer any other specific questions you may have about the unit.
Yeah, I have no questions. Any comments or questions from the board?
Nope.
Hearing none. From the public? Hearing none. Back to the board. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you very much.
Unanimous. Thank you, Chief.
Hey, Chief.
Item number 12, non-recurring capital, 20 years, requires Board of Finance and RTM approval to hear, consider, and adopt a bond resolution entitled a resolution appropriating $3,760,200 for the costs of certain non-recurring capital projects and authorizing the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriations, consisting of 5 pages, be and hereby is approved. See full resolution in the backup. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions? Let's see, should we just go through the items? We have or do we have any questions on the list? Should we go through the list with the appropriate people?
I think a quick, just for the public's sake, even just to go through the list quickly. I don't know.
Yeah, yep. So the marine workboat, is anyone on the line who will speak to that?
I can speak from the treetops about it. It's a boat, and Anthony, I hope you would jump in at some point. It's a barge that's used for maintenance of the marinas, and the existing barge was built in 1989, right, Anthony? And so it's past its useful life. The reliability issue is a major concern. It's been a target of the vehicle maintenance people who take care of it since I got here 3.5 years ago. And so it is time to replace that boat. It has to be custom made, and it has to be utilized in a fashion that we utilize it. So, it's a working boat. Is that all correct, Anthony?
It is correct.
John, go ahead. Yeah.
No,
Sorry,
that's okay. Go ahead, Bill.
No, I was going to say, I've seen this boat. I feel like I've been looking at this boat for replacement for years. So I feel like I'm not sure if everyone's very familiar with this, and maybe that's a simple discussion. But yeah, if you could just go ahead.
Anthony.
Yeah, everything. Anthony Calabrese, Director of Park and Recreation, and everything that John Marsilio just laid out is accurate. The boat is a 1989 model boat. It's about 24.5 feet long, and it is at the end of its useful life. Everything else that he said, as far as maintaining the pilings, putting out the moorings, navigational things, everything for the channels. This is the boat that does all that work. So it's multifaceted, but happy to answer any questions.
And if this boat went totally offline, what would we be doing?
That's a great question. We would probably do what we'd probably beg police and fire to use their boats in a pinch, but they wouldn't like doing maintenance things with theirs. Obviously, theirs are for emergency uses. Sometimes we can lean on neighboring towns if they have the right kind of equipment, or we would have to rent something. But luckily, we haven't been in a position where that's happened yet.
And Anthony, I'm sorry to submit this beforehand. Any idea of just rough maintenance costs? Have you been throwing money just trying to keep this boat afloat?
The old boat?
We have been, but Public Works typically handles that, so I don't know the number off the top of my head. I apologize.
That's okay.
And without specific numbers, I would just say on that from an engine perspective, and I know it's noted in there, moving to the newer diesel engines. I mean, that is, there's going to be efficiency there, and they run much cleaner, lower maintenance costs. And it was noted in the packet, even, I mean, when there's ice, this boat is in year round, even in the wintertime, breaking ice in the channels. So this is a 365-day out of the year boat that's very, very aging.
Yeah, it's really old.
So,
Um,
Bill, could I, so most of these items obviously have been on the waterfall, and some of these already had pre-approval, and we know about them. I think it might just be helpful. I mean, we've had extensive presentations from on the fire truck, on all these items, even the police rehabilitation of the state of the police department station, and all this stuff.
Yep.
What I was wondering, though, looking at the page 5, Exhibit A. So the way that it's lined up, typically there would be, not that it's a big deal because the numbers are the numbers and we know, I mean, we know about these projects. There's nothing new here. What, like, for example, the McKinley School, Knapp's Highway Neighborhood Connectivity 20-year bond. So it's listed 850,000, and then it has 700,000, for the grants. But typically we would used to, when we did the capital planning workshops, Christine might remember this because she spent a lot of time at those meetings. There would be like the line would say the town is going to expend, obviously it's 150,000, right? Because we're getting grants for 700, but I don't know why this format's changed, but it may be just for the public when they look at backup and thing, it might be a little bit more helpful to see, what is the town shelling out just in that line item, right? Because we're getting this $700,000 grant. But the other items, I mean, we've had a lot of presentations on these things that the public can go back and look at.
Yeah, I mean, so instead of going through each item, is what you're asking is that we can just ask if there are any comments on any of the items?
Yeah, that would be helpful if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any objections, Christine, or is there?
I have
items that you have a question on?
Well, just really for the public's sake, I know that we've been through these meetings, but I guess just for the public, if you're listening and you want more detail, just to check the backup with the agenda. It's pretty long, so I understand the public might not be going all through with 300 plus pages. It is in there. But I did have a question about the Meadowbrook Road sound barrier. Knocked on a lot of doors and heard some concerns from people in that neighborhood just about the sound from 95. And I know that some of the trees went down. Was there any discussion about extending that barrier? Like, what are our options if we don't move forward with what's proposed today?
Would that be a Bill Hurley question or a John Marsilio? Okay.
I think Mr.
I've worked with Bill on this. It was prompted by a request from an RTM member in that district. And it is a constant source of maintenance for us. If you look across the highway on the other side, you will see a state barrier, a sound barrier there that utilizes telephone poles and a more sturdy system. That barrier is unsightly. It's a maintenance headache, and I think if we can get it designed properly and maybe get it bid out, I would request that some of our state legislators see if the Connecticut DOT wouldn't step to the plate and do that. If they don't, I feel that we have an obligation to repair that and make it a little more attractive for those people there and for the people entering Fairfield who get off at Kings Highway.
Thank you.
But John, if you're looking at all those trees that were cut down, that really has caused an additional noise and I guess and now the people who live maybe not on Meadowbrook, but well, yeah, I guess it's around the corner, like right off 95. There's nothing that we can do on our own, right? That would be the state that would have to build something to replace the trees that were there.
Well, the trees are on the state right of way.
Yeah.
quite frankly, this barrier is not. I guess it's in the right of way, but it's not part of the highway system. So it's our obligation to address it. And that's what this is for. And as I said, because they cut the trees down, I think there's a good argument to make that this sound barrier, which is what it is intended to do, the state should participate. And I think that's a valid and worthy pursuit. When we have,
I would agree with John. I mean, listen, the history of sound barriers goes long and wide. And when I was a state representative representing that area, the state exhausted those funds many years ago. They never put new money in. And the rule of thumb now for any new barriers is that there has to be a change to the actual highway. Or a new exit ramp or reducing an exit ramp. So the state's not going to be putting sound barriers in. But to John's point, this isn't really on the highway. This is more like on a road in our town, but borders the highway to a certain extent. So you make a good point about it being something. I mean, listen, if we could get some state money, that'd be great. What DOT did, tearing down all those trees without even giving notice to even people on Henderson Road, or the town, was atrocious. But we were working to try to get them to plant trees just to buffer, especially Henderson Road and some of those other areas that really got obliterated by the lack of forestry in their area. But I think it would be, I would agree that, Bill, that you should try to get the state delegation to see if they could give us some assistance with that barrier, because it is in the town area and it is unsightly. So maybe I think that's a good idea.
I think that's a good idea. And but I just wanted to double check, like along much of the road, like sort of up where all the trees were cut down, we can't do anything on our own with that because it's the state right of way, right, John? So we would need the state to do something with that part.
Yes. So it's twofold. We need to tell the state, because they're cutting down all these trees, it exacerbates the noise. And one of the reasons we have to replace this barrier is in response to that. Second thing is, it's just the right thing to do. It's highway related, but for the highway being there, that barrier would never have to be installed.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else on this list that anyone would like to ask about, or we can just go to the public?
I'm good, thank you.
No.
Okay. Anyone from the public, any comments or questions? Hearing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous, thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is number 13, non-recurring capital, 20 years, requires Board of Finance and RTM approval to hear, consider, and adopt a bond resolution amending and restating a resolution entitled, a resolution appropriating $3,717,899 for the costs of certain non-recurring capital projects and authorizing the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation to expand the scope of the Jackie Durrell Pavilion upgrades project description. See full resolution in backup. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. But this would be
Anthony, yeah, he's here to speak on this one, and it's related to some additional some funds that were left over in that allocation. So Anthony could take this.
Yep. Thanks, David. Anthony Calabrese, Director of Parks and Recreation. This is really just a procedural matter. I came before the three bodies for upgrade Jackie Durrell Pavilion for the bathroom and kitchen. This time last year, we've completed those projects. They came in under budget. They were completed completely by our Public Works Department, and they did an amazing job. So we have $54,000 left in that budget line, and we wanted to put that toward the deck. So seeing that we had that money, we were hoping to offset the $84,000 cost of the deck by using some of this $54,000 for it, and then Public Work and Recreation would take the remaining $30,000 and split it between our two operating budgets to cover the full cost. This is a state bid project, so we'd be able to get this started, obviously, with the cooperate, but before wedding season. Happy to answer any questions.
Fantastic. Any questions from the board?
Nope.
Just thank you to everybody.
Yeah.
To Department of Public Works and Anthony for their work. They do such a great job.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Any comments from the public? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you very much, Anthony. Okay, item number 14, refunds tax collector. To consider and act upon tax refunds as recommended by the tax collector in the amount of $8,406.22. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from the board?
No.
Hearing none. Public? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, unanimous. Thank you. Item number 15, adjourn. May I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All right, unanimous. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for showing up on a snowy day, and hopefully all your shoveling's been done, and be safe.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you very
Take care.
much.
You too. Have a
Thank
good
you.
anniversary,
Good night.
Brenda.
Oh, thank you.
Happy
You have
anniversary.
a nice summertime. Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye, Bill.
Bye-bye. Thank you.